Hello Exiles, you are watching the much anticipated showcase to Ichigo Lahkesis Queen of the Chaos Essence Drain build. In Path of Exile 2, Essence Drain is surprisingly capable of clearing endgame content in the same powerful style as in Path of Exile 1, where it still remains as one of the strongest skills in the game. As you may well know, Path of Exile 2 brings a new gem system, a new skill tree, and some familiar mechanics. We will be using the best tools in our disposal to bring Essence Drain to its full potential, while simultaneously shaping a solid defense for the build. But wait, we're still in early access. Many things will change, and many other new things will be added, so basically, our potential will increase as time goes on. Right now, we have some interesting tools and interactions to make the build work and clear in-game content just the way GGG intended for us. Let's hop right into it. I've been waiting so long to introduce you to my Lahkesis Queen of Chaos Essence Drain build for Path of Exile 2. So, if you are looking for a fun build with a great damage output which scales with mob density, has enough resilience to face pinnacle bosses, clears tier 15 areas within a reasonable budget range, and it is a solo self-found friendly, then Essence Drain got you covered. Path of Exile 2 will have 36 different ascendancies, a crazy amount of choices, but we only have 12 right now. There is potential in some of them, but we will be choosing primarily Chronomancer. The Chronomancer has multiple skills that fit perfectly into Essence Drain playstyle. Footprints in the Sand, which resets your life and mana within Temporal Rift. Ultimate Command stops your enemies within a large area with time freeze. Apex of the Moment, enemies are basically slowed by 20% in your proximity. And we have Now and Again, which is basically 33% free cooldowns. Footprints in the Sand, Ultimate Command and Apex of the Moment will be our first 3 skill choices. Your last 2 ascendancy points will go to Now and Again, or you could respec Apex of the Moment for Unbound Encore, especially against tough bosses. Temporal Rift allocated with Footprints in the Sand is a difficult skill to use, but once you get the hang of it, you will realize how strong the skill is and you will become addicted to it. Managing mana and having an escape route out of dangerous situations is key for high tier content. Time Freeze, allocated with Ultimate Command, is no different from being a powerful skill as Temporal Rift. Use this against bosses and rare monsters for defensive purposes, as well as extending the duration of your damage over time debuffs. Apex of the Moment will become very resourceful when you get your Blasphemy setup running, since the slow effect will stack with temporal chains, creating a defensive bubble wherever we stand. Lastly, Now and Again gives us a small boost of efficiency, resetting cooldowns while you clear maps and fight bosses. Double Time Freeze feels great, and better than Double Time Freeze is Time Snap, allocated with Unbound Encore, that will chain multiple time freezes in unethical manner. You can switch between Apex of the Moment and Unbound Encore depending on what you will fight. Although Chronomancer is our most viable choice of preference, if you were to choose a different ascendancy for Essence Drain, you would be looking at the following candidates. Bloodmage. Bloodmage has some powerful defensive layers, primarily Sigilmancy, Life Overflow, Grasping Wounds, which gives you 25% damage taken is delayed, and Crimson Power, which gives you an extra maximum life from your body armor. Unfortunately, there is not much synergy with Essence Drain, as you will be struggling to find opportunities to boost your damage output. Great tankiness though, for people looking into trying any spellcaster in hardcore mode. If you choose Infernalist, it would be mainly because of the damage output with Demonic Possession, and increased spell damage per Demon Flame stack. It's a great DBS, however, Path of Exile 2 is not glass cannon friendly, at least not yet. Your main layer of defense would be Energy Shield stacking combined with Mind Over Matter, but this interaction is so powerful that it is not very likely to stay the same in the final release. The Gemling Legionnaire. The Legionnaire is an odd but an interesting option for Essence Drain because implemented gems gives us +1 level, crystalline potential gives us +10 quality of skills, advanced thaumaturgy gives us 30% less cost of skills, which gives us more but a noticeable increment in efficiency that the build requires for a smooth gameplay experience. The skill tree would be a completely different beast, stacking projectile damage and poison perhaps in a completely inefficient manner. However, to forfeit a curse effect in favor of a flat damage increase wouldn't be recommended unless the tree is reworked in favor of it. For sure, gem stacking also boosts our resistances, and we can take a different approach to our defenses on him since we have thaumaturgical infusion and adaptive capability. Essence Drain is a Chaos Projectile spell that applies a strong damage over time debuff to enemies it hits. This would be our primary single target DPS. Dark Effigy will play a role as a support skill for Essence Drain, applying a poison and wither, which will increase our chaos damage over time. Combined with the Contagion setup, we have a strong area of effect to deal with our packs of enemies. All damage over time effects will spread when the first enemy dies. Despair is our primary curse, lowering the chaos resistances of the targets within its range. Paired with Contagion, both skills will clear enemy packs with ease. The Whispers of Doom Keystone and Dodra's Damning Unique Ring allow us to cast one additional curse. Once we get the maximum of 3, combining both of them, Blasphemy support comes into play, adding Temporal Chains and Enfeeble to our setup. Temporal Chains will slow enemies and extend the duration of debuffs we apply. Enfeeble will make them deal less damage to us. These skills combined with Apex of the Moment will enable us to get out of tight situations with ease. Quality on Blasphemy reduces the spirit consumption, so if you have any gem cutter prisms, make sure the gem is at 20. Ghost Dance and Grim Feast will regenerate our energy shield in combat. Together with Blasphemy, will stack as a defensive layer, preparing you for a chill endgame. Withering Presence is the last persistent buff and will apply the wither effect to enemies around you, increasing the chaos damage we deal. Temporal Rift and Time Freeze will be used against strong enemies. Use Temporal Rift in dire situations or refill your mana. Time Freeze is your instant I win button. There's not much to say, but this is the reason why Chronomancer is a prime ascendancy in the game. Now we review our gem links. To Essence Drain, we're gonna add Chaos Mastery, Swift Affliction, Drain Elements, Momentum or Chain, Hourglass or Scatter Shot. The new gem system in Path of Exile 2 restricts the amount of support gems we can use, so we have to come up with a creative setup that can utilize each skill's full potential. With Essence Drains, Chaos Mastery and Swift Affliction will provide a direct damage increase to the skill. Drain Elements is a great but needs a secondary skill to work. In this case, we will use Dark Effigy to apply Element. Momentum requires you to move at least 2 meters after casting. As long as you keep moving while fighting, the support will do its job. Hourglass is a big damage increase, but it adds a long cooldown, so we will have to be using it against bosses. Lastly, while you clearing maps, you can switch 1 or 2 of your least important supports to Chain and Scattershot to help with back clearing. Dark Effigy. We link to Dark Effigy the following gems: Envenom, Arcane Tempo, Acceleration, and Withering Touch. Envenom and Withering Touch are our main supports here. Arcane Tempo and Acceleration when you get sufficient sockets. Contagion. To Contagion we add the following gems: Unleash, Arcane Surge, Hinder, Chaotic Freeze. Unleash and Arcane Surge are the main supports for Contagion. Hinder and Chaotic Freeze are chosen for crowd control purposes. If we want to enhance the skill damage, we will use Despair Curse. Despair. We link the following gems to Despair: Decaying Hex, Impending Doom, Magnified Effect, Heightened Curse, and Inspiration. Decaying Curse support causes the curse to deal damage over time. Impending Doom will make a clearing more complete. Magnified Effect on Heightened Curse and Inspiration will increase the efficiency of the skill directly. Blasphemy. We will be linking the following gems: Temporal Chains, Enfeeble, Encumbrance, Ritualistic Curse. As we progress during the campaign or in the game, we will require an extra capacity to use curses, as the default maximum is 1. The Whispers of Doom Keystone and the Doris Ring will provide that extra curse. Once we have 3 curses, we will link Blasphemy with Temporal Chains and Enfeeble. Encumbrance will increase a slow applied by Temporal Chains. Remember that quality on Blasphemy will save some spirit consumption. Temporal Rift. Ingenuity. It's the only logical solution. Although Temporal Rift is a very good skill, there are not many supports to choose from at the current time. Time Freeze. We're gonna link it only to Persistence. Similar to Temporal Rift, there aren't many options. However, we will want Time Freeze to last as long as possible, with Persistence and skill effect duration from the passive skill tree. Lightning Warp. We're gonna link it only to Life Drain and Soul Drain. Lightning Warp has a Culling Strike, so basically Life Drain and Soul Drain fit the best for the skill. Withering Presence. We link it to Clarity and Vitality. If we have enough Spirit, of course, it's a nice subtle layer of defense to add to our build. Ghost Dance will be also in the build, and we will link Fast Forward to it. For Ghost Dance, we will want Fast Forward to reduce the weight between ghost routes. Grim Feast. At this point, you're probably short in spirit to fit all your skills. Grim Feast is okay having no specific links. For bossing, there is a gem swapping tick that provides us with 40% more spell damage. We will be swapping Grim Feast with Skeletal Cleric and then cast Soul Offering. The buff should last upwards of 10 seconds using the same skill tree with no need of weapon swapping. You should be able to consistently cast this spell as long as the fight needs. For even more mana sustain during boss fights, we will be adding the following support gems to Soul Offering: Font of Mana, and from further damage boost, we will add Minion Mastery. Now let's break down the spirit cost to all of this. Total spirit cost is gonna be 228 spirits, 198 spirit without clarity and vitality. Blasphemy will consume 54 spirit per curse, 108 in total. Withering Presence will consume 30. Clarity and vitality, 10, 20, 30 in total. Ghost Dance is gonna be 30 spirits. Grim Feast will be also 30 spirits. Equipment modifiers. These are the modifiers that we're going to be looking for when we're trying to upgrade or acquire our gear. Increased chaos damage, increased spell damage, spell effect duration, gem levels, extra curse limit, increased curse effect, spirits since we need the total of 198, energy shield, evasion, maximum mana, mana regeneration, resistances, and attributes. Gearing should not prove to be challenging as long as we keep our eyes for the following modifiers in our gear. For wands, you are looking for increased chaos damage, increased spell damage, plus maximum mana, plus number of levels to all chaos spell skills, increased cast speed, and intelligence. We're gonna be using a focus, not a shield in this build, since our defenses primarily rely on energy shield and evasion. We're gonna be looking for the following modifiers: maximum energy shield, increased spell damage, increased chaos damage, plus 2 level of all spell skills, maximum mana, and resistances. For helmets, we're gonna be looking for increased evasion and energy shield, plus 2 evasion rating, plus 2 maximum energy shield, plus 2 maximum mana, and percentage for resistances. For body armors, we're gonna have percent increased evasion and energy shield, evasion rating, maximum energy shield, plus flat spirits, and resistances. For rings, we are gonna be using an unset ring. Grants 1 additional skill slot so we can use Soul Offering Tech with Skeletal Cleric for approximately 38% more spell damage, which comes as a damage boost against bosses. For the modifiers, we're gonna have increased chaos damage, increased percent evasion rating, increased percent for maximum energy shield, and flat maximum mana with resistances. For amulet, we're gonna be very standard. It's gonna be a spirit-based amulet with flat spirits on it. Maximum mana, increased spell damage, increased maximum energy shield, plus 1 to 3 level of spell gems. For builds, we're gonna be looking for maximum mana, maximum energy shield, increased flask mana recovery rate, plus strength, plus resistances. For gloves, we're gonna be looking for a high energy shield base with increased evasion and energy shield, maximum energy shield, maximum mana, flat evasion rating, and resistances. When it comes to our boots, we are looking for the following modifiers. Increased movement speed is essential after all, maximum energy shield, maximum mana, and percentage for resistances. Target uniques for the build. There are many unique items that GGG hasn't yet to reveal. For now, we can keep the chase down to these items. Dodra's Damning. It's a ring that provides us with 1 extra curse to our limit. Prism of Belief. A diamond jewel for more DPS with Essence Drain gives us from 1 to 3 level of all Essence Drain skills. The Adorned. It's a diamond jewel for endgame min-maxing. It gives us an increased effect of the jewel socket and the passive skill tree containing corrupted magic jewels. Megalomaniac Diamond for endgame min-maxing. Make you allocate from 2 to 3 notable passive points. From Nothing Diamond for endgame min-maxing. Passives and radius can be allocated without being connected to your tree. Ingenuity Utility Build. 40 to 80% increased bonuses gained from equipped rings is nothing to scoff at. It's one of our most hunted and seeked uniques in our build. In Path of Exile 2, the path of a skill tree is very straightforward in the way it provides increments for your build. The interesting part is having enough points to cover all the necessities. Your gear should focus on taking care of life, defenses, resistances, and missing attributes. Your keystones. Whispers of Doom for extra curse is very important to run the blasphemy setup. Case Inoculation is picked when you have enough energy shield in the game. When it comes to Jewel, Prism of Belief is a straight up DPS boost, but there are some other stats in Jewels that we are very interested in. Increase the effect of your curses, increase the skill effect duration, increased chaos damage, increased spell damage, increased area of effect, increased energy shield. For Amulet Enchant, we have a few interesting options. Preservation for 25% increase the skill effect duration. Lingering Whispers gives us 40% increased curse duration and 10% increased the effect of your curses. Arcane Intensity gives us 3% increased spell damage per 100 maximum mana. Dark Entries gives us +1 to level of all chaos skills. Pros and cons. Well, for pros, it's a smooth leveling experience, does not depend on unique items, balanced bossing and clearing capabilities, budget-friendly and suitable for high-end investment. Cons, limited skill tree choices by the current iteration of our skill tree, not enough support gems for damage over time. Damage over time multiplier does not exist in the current iteration of the game. High mana cost like all other builds. In Path of Exile 1, Essence Drain was recognized for being a well-rounded build that could excel in every type of content with a low budget or a high budget. Lahkesis, the Queen of Chaos, ruled all over Rayclass. In Path of Exile 2, there is still a long way ahead of discovery and renovation. It seems that Essence Drain will be equally strong like its version in Path of Exile 1, as it has a great potential even with a full set of rare items. We are waiting to see what other unique items, new skills, gem and support gems GGG has prepared for us in the future. So until then, thank you for watching and see you next time.